Sorry, Carney. Moving on. U.S. military has conducted dozens of new strikes targeting Iranian radar and drone command sites. This comes after the shootdown of a U.S. MQ-1 Predator drone in international waters.
The Iranians retaliating by launching dozens of ballistic missiles and drone strikes at a U.S. base in Kuwait, with U.S. officials announcing air defenses intercepted the attack with no reported injuries. The exchange underscores how rapidly expanding drone and counter-drone technologies are reshaping the battlefield for all.
For more, let's bring in drone expert, Army Special Operations veteran, and Power Us founder and Fox News contributor, Brett Velicovich. Brett, good to see you tonight. Okay, I got my first question is, it seems like it's all about drones right now. And we were a little surprised at how advanced Iran was, or maybe how simple they were and how effective that was. Are we building our capability to match and excel what actors like Iran have available to them right now?
Well, we are, and we unfortunately have been left behind for quite some time because we haven't focused on that. And that's why I really strongly support the administration's focus on rebuilding America's drone industrial base. For too long, we've relied on foreign-made components and allowed competitors to outpace us in manufacturing. And national security starts with industrial capability. If you can't build it, you can't field it. And if you can't field it, you can't deter your enemies like Iran. And if you can't deter your enemies, eventually you're going to have to fight them. And so when I hear also about the United States striking Iranian drone command centers, they should understand that this is a glimpse into what warfare looks like in the 21st century. People need to understand that the battlefield is changing right in front of us. 20 years ago, military power was measured by how many fighter jets, how many tanks, aircraft carriers that a nation possessed. Today, power is increasingly measured by who controls the drone ecosystem, the command centers, the software, the comms networks, the AI, the drone operators behind those systems have become just as important as traditional military assets. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, the side that controls the drones control the battlefield. We're watching right now the military equivalent of the transition from horses to tanks. I mean, the nation's still debating whether or not drones matter or having the wrong conversation. The question is no longer whether drones will dominate warfare. The question is whether America will dominate the drone age or will allow our adversaries to do it first.
Well, my great-great-uncle Guy McDowell fought in France in World War I, and he was in the 6th Cavalry. And that was the moment kind of in warfare where the cavalry wasn't, it was trench warfare, and they weren't very useful any longer. So I'm picking up what you're laying down there, Brett. But the United States is not that far behind, are we? Because we have very technologically advanced drones. And as you've said before, we reverse engineered the Shahed Iranian drone. It is the kind of cheap, mass-produced drones where we need to play catch-up. But what about the incredible advancements that Ukraine has made in drone warfare? And I was just reading about some of the things that they've done that are unprecedented because they're producing more than 8 million first-person view drones a year right now with AI machine vision targeting, fiber optic unjammable drones. What about what we're going to take from Ukraine at this juncture?
Well, you're exactly right. And I've been in a number of those Ukrainian manufacturing sites, and you go into one of them, and one is making 100,000 small FPV drones per month. That is insane scale. And I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that drones are somehow a lesser form of warfare because maybe they're smaller or they're cheaper. That's exactly backwards. Drones are making warfare more dangerous because they're dramatically lowering the cost of a precision attack. A system that once required $1 billion aircraft can now be accomplished by a network of unmanned systems at a fraction of the price. And the countries that understand this shift will lead. The countries that ignore it are going to be left behind. The good news is that America has every advantage. I mean, we do not have a technology problem in America. We've got the entrepreneurs, we have the engineers, we have the capital, we have the military expertise. We have a federal government contracting problem. We have an urgency issue where there are many, many barriers that have been put in place to build those systems faster, build them at scale. But I'm seeing that change slowly. We definitely have the technology to fix it. We just need to pour more money top down into this ecosystem to scale at the pace the Ukrainians are.
Well, maybe this is part of the urgency issue. You've got a lot of talk around the White House ballroom, the new one, and this idea of having a drone base, I guess it's right on top of it as part of the defenses of that ballroom. There's all sorts of fighting around what's going on, but how necessary is that? Why is that part of what the ballroom requires?
Extremely necessary. Look, the headline is a ballroom. People see a ballroom, but the real story is security. This is a test bed for 21st century drone security. Washington, for centuries, was designed to defend against threats from the ground, but the next generation of threats are coming from the air. Critics want to make this sound like some sort of fancy architectural project. What I see is recognition that the threat environment around Washington has fundamentally changed. And the reality is that every major government facility, military base, stadium, energy facility, even commercial infrastructure or public venue is going to need counter drone protection. It's not speculation. This is happening. We've watched drones appear over military installations. We've seen drones shut down commerce by flying over airports. We've watched them attack critical infrastructure around the world. We've watched them become tools of surveillance. This is a situation where we need to fix the security challenge now. It isn't, the next major security challenge isn't going to be someone scaling a fence. It's going to be a drone flying over it. And we just have to redefine how, for centuries, we've thought of the fence. We now need to look at fences in the air, and this administration's right to focus on that.
Yep.
Whatever the Democrats dismiss is something that a sane person should take seriously, as the president does, as you do. Brett Velicovich, great to see you.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.